dealer.
Governor Bob McDonnell approved the sale of nearly $500 million in bonds today to advance transportation projects. The bonds are scheduled to be sold next month. In addition, the governor has directed VDOT to sell $293 million of bonds in fiscal year 2011 and another $300 million in each fiscal year from 2012 through 2016 as part of the Commonwealth's 6-year improvement program. The $500 million in bond funding will help to advance projects around the state, including Interstate 81 truck climbing lanes in the Shenandoah Valley. And joining us now to discuss transportation funding is Virginia Secretary of Transportation, Sean Connaughton. Secretary, thanks for joining us.
Bob, thank you very much for having me.
Okay, the transportation money, the bond money to be issued is $2.3 billion from 2010 through 2016. How will this money, bond money, be repaid?
Sure. The debt service for this money comes out of a dedicated fund called the Commonwealth Transportation Fund. This fund is actually paid for by gasoline taxes, insurance, and titling taxes. So it doesn't come out of the general revenues used to run day in, day out operations of the government. This is money that is actually collected for transportation purposes, and we're going to end up using it for transportation purposes only.
So no need for more increases in any fees or whatever for this bonding? No.
In fact, actually, one of the things that controls when you can sell these types of bonds is looking at not only your overall debt capacity of the Commonwealth, but also the ability to service that debt. And so this amount that we're letting out this year, the $500 million, and the close to $2.3 billion over the next several years, will fit within our capacity to both service that debt as well as the overall capacity of the Commonwealth to issue the debt.
Is transportation funding adequate for the state's needs?
No, I think everyone agrees that transportation funding to actually keep up with the growing population as well as deal with an aging infrastructure is not adequate to meet our Commonwealth's needs. The governor is very committed to working with the General Assembly and with the stakeholders, finding ways to put more resources in the Commonwealth Transportation Fund. This will be some of the discussion going on for the rest of this year, but also in the next session of the General Assembly.
All right, and this has been the ongoing problem where we haven't been able to find agreement on a dedicated funding source that's going to be able to meet the needs in the future, correct?
That's right. I mean, one of the things is how do we end up putting more resources in the transportation, but also make sure that we do so in a manner that without really raising taxes and the burden that goes along with that. Also deal with what we have is a structural problem with some of our transportation funding mechanisms now, such as the gasoline tax. I mean, even though we have more cars driving, we have more vehicle miles being traveled on our roadways. On the other hand, gasoline taxes are staying pretty flat, consistent, and that's basically because cars are getting more efficient, and we're seeing hybrid cars, and we're seeing even electric cars that end up, we're not getting any gasoline taxes from that.
I see. So that is, I guess, one of the downsides of increased mileage. Tell me, is federal money combined with the state funds that we're talking about here?
That's right. In fact, one of the things that the General Assembly did when they specifically gave us the authority for issuing these bonds was to try and to maximize the use of federal dollars where possible. Essentially, we call it a federal strategy. For the most part, for new construction, the federal government will pay for 80% of a project's cost if we put up 20%. And so in many instances here, and like with the issuance of these bonds, we're actually paying for hundreds of projects throughout the Commonwealth, and we're using most of that money actually to meet that federal match. So that way we can get a lot more projects done, and we can also maximize the benefit to the people of the Commonwealth without incurring too much.
Okay, Virginia Secretary of Transportation Sean Connaughton, thanks so much for joining us.